Hello everybody, this is Ben with another Minecraft video. In today's episode I wanted to show off my Armory station. With the 1.5 update, dispensers have a new ability. When you're standing next to them and they dispense a piece of armor, if you're not wearing that piece of armor, it'll equip it on you automatically. So using that we can make really easy and quick equipping stations for, if you wanted to have like an arena or a PvP area, you could have a bunch of these set up where you can just run in, equip yourself, and then run over there. So I'm going to step on this pressure plate that's going to equip out a sword, pants, boots, give me food, helmet, a dispenser. There's one under here that's going to give me a bow, and then above me is a dropper that's going to drop some arrows. Okay, so I have no armor on and nothing in my inventory when I run into here. You can see I now have full armor, a bow, a sword, food, and arrows. There are a few things I don't like about this design. The first is that the arrow and food dispensers will continue to fire even after you leave. And the second issue is that dispensers can only hold 9 items. So if you have, an 8 versus 8 PvP game, you're going to run out of armor real quick. So ideally you want a hopper system back here, and this is not set up for that. This one over here is, and I'll be getting to that right after I talk about the clock. All 3 of my designs use the same clock, which I built over here. It consists of 1 repeater pointed this way, 1 pointed this way, and they basically just go around in a loop. Here you have a piston with a block on top. This is an easy way to generate a 1-tick pulse from any input. That goes into a repeater, which is used as a buffer between the clock and the piston here. And over here is my system to regulate the clock. When this is retracted, this will the signal will pass into here and then end, so this won't constantly go around. And that's there so I can turn it off. So you can see it's very fast. And this retracts it, turning off the timer. If you didn't have that there, there'd be no way to shut the time. You'd have to break some redstone. So now this can be any length of signal. It will always get converted into a 1-tick pulse, so that's useful for having a pressure plate there. So this one is the same basic design as this, except I've changed the wiring a bit to allow for double chests to be added. Here and there. of these would have to be replaced by upside down stairs or slabs in order for you to be able to open these. So let's build one of these. So you want a little platform here. You want to put your... I'm going to be using droppers for all these. You can use dispensers. Though arrows are going to be fired directly at you and potions are going to be splashed on you unless you have a dropper. So now I want to stack 2 high. And 1 on the top. Then you want to put down a pressure plate. So that's the front. Now we want to wire up the back. Now there's a lot of trial and error involved when you are wiring this stuff up. It's sometimes these things don't act the way you expect them to. So I like to put down my uppers first to kind of lay out where I want things to feed into each other. This task is kind of difficult because hoppers are kind of annoying right now. For example, if you have 2 hoppers, one on top of each other but not pointing into each other, that doesn't matter. It will drain right down, which means you can't put, for example, you can't just do this. Because this one's going to drain into this one, which is going to drain into this one, and they're all going to drain together, so there can be no overlapping between them. So you'll have to do something like this. So now we have to wire these up. These bottom 4 will be activated by the pressure switch here, so we don't have to worry about that. We want these 2 to be triggered by the clock. And we want these 2 here to we want these 2 to be on the clock. We want this one and this one to be fired once when we hit the button. So to do that, we're going to come out here. Now you can grab power from this pressure switch here, here, or over here. I like coming straight out back, especially if I'm going to do something symmetrical like this one and this one. So we want to build a tower. Now I'm going to use red wool here. Okay, so now we want to bring power to this one, which we can do by putting redstone on top here, and also over here. And we just need to find a power. This is off now, so when the pressure switch is pressed, that will turn it on. So let's test to see if that works. And you can see we triggers once when we step in, exactly what we want. Okay, so we got all but 2 of our dispensers hooked up. Now we have to hook these 2 up to a clock and we are done. So how we're going to do this is we're going to put the redstone signal through these 2 hoppers, which will activate these 2 below them, without activating any of the others. So I'm going to use melons to cut out the wire for now. I'm just doing that so that this bar doesn't connect down here. I'm adding another hopper here that we can put a chest on when we finish. So now over to the top of the tower here. So we want a 6 wide or 3 by 2 space here. And actually I want this like that. Next we're going to put 2 wire here, 2 wire here, a repeater going this way and one going this way. This is the heart of our clock. Now I want a repeater here. These are all set at 1 tick. A upward facing sticky piston, a block. And we're going to run our redstone right into that block. This will transform our constant signal into a 1 tick pulse that will repeatedly drive this signal here. So the final thing we need is a piston to push out a block to stop the cycle. We're going to put it over here. When this block is extended, it'll allow the signal to continuously pass through. When it is retracted, it will stop that. Now, we want to make sure that our repeater is going to the block. That's really the only requirement you have there. And then you just attach like so. And let's test it out. Very good. Now I like to check just to make sure I haven't crossed my signal, so let's hear splitting. Right, so this is all set to go now. All we need to do is add our chests. I would avoid trap chests, just because you don't want to set up any dispensers prematurely. But loading or adding the hoppers is not all that difficult. You just need to make sure you're not putting anything right above another hopper. And you should be good to go. Oh, and in situations like this, you have to go up here remove these, grab a half slab or stairs, and replace that way you can open up your chest. Now some of these aren't going to be the easiest to get to, like this one's going to be pretty difficult. Though I guess you could actually take it out one more. And I showed earlier, this having a hop around it. You actually can't do that. I had forgotten. Because that's going to cause this to drain into this one. So, my suggestion to you would be to put something that only fires once, that can stack 64, and you only have to refill it once every couple 100 games. As you can see, this is pretty tall and pretty wide, so you want to make sure you have plenty of space where you're building this. But it's all flat, so you can hide it all behind a wall fairly easily. And that's how you build a armory station here in the world. This station we just built is pretty good, and for most applications it'll do just fine. But if you want a more consistent and reliable system, you're going to need an upgrade from this, which I just so happen to build over here. Now you'll notice right off the bat this is slightly different from the previous version. There are only 6 dispensers instead of 8. They contain slightly different items in the dispenser, and as you can see, it's slightly bulkier, especially vertically. So, as you can see, I have no armor on, nor do I have any items. When I walk into this, it will dispense a full set of armor, a full stack of arrows, 20 food, a bow, and a sword. And as you can see, there we go. Very nice. I'm red. This is, of course, dyed leather armor. So let's go check out how it works. So you might be wondering how I got my armor and sword when they don't appear in any of these dispensers. Well, that's because they're in these dispensers. Here, exit that. So we have 5 dispensers with our 4 armor sets plus a sword one, which is this one here that you can't access for some reason. And those feed into one hopper, which comes down to here. Now, the secret is that all 5 of these dispensers are rapid fire. So when we drop in our armor and sword, they get shot out. In this way, we can have have all our one-shot items be dispensed rapid fire without dispensing like 20 swords. And the bow is simply shot out when you step on there and isn't connected to anything else. And this is the configuration I use for my automatic brewing stations to dispense out 4 ingredients. I reused that one for this one here, although I had to slightly modify it. Down here we have our clock, which is the same clock we used for the previous one. No different. We have our chests. Now, because I used wool here and not dispensers, we can actually put a hopper for this bottom one, because we don't have to worry about training items out of a dispenser that would be there. The only other notable thing about this is we have a pulse limiter. This will take our constant pulse and turn it into or a constant signal and turn it into a pulse. And then we have a signal lengthener, which takes our pulse and spreads it out into a certain length signal. I do this so that I can have that clockwork, so that you always get dispensed 64 arrows, 20 food, and all your equipment. It also lets people know when they can leave the station, when everything turns off. So I'm not going to show you how to build this. If there's a lot of interest, I might do a follow-up video where I show how to build this design. But it should be pretty straightforward. It's just a modified version of that with extra dispensers on top. This design is more useful for a PvP map where people are going to be constantly dying and need to get restocked with things. For your average single player world or even a small map, I don't really see it being useful when you could just use that design instead. Well, that will do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this has inspired you to go out and build your own Armory system. It's kind of cool. You can pretend to be Batman and have a little superhero changer in your own little bat cave there. The systems can be kind of complex, as you've seen over there, but they are fun to figure out. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and I will see you next time.